So I've marked out on here where I think I've got to trim it back to. I've got an air powered hacksaw thing here. It makes it a bit less mess than an angle grinder with a cut-off wheel on it. So I'll give that a go. Got the vacuum ready to clean anything up. Okay, what I've just done here, might be hard to see it on the camera, is I've just run a line, a pencil line around the outside of that to let me know where the outside of this is. It's even down here. And what I'm going to do first is just try and cut as close to the edge of that eyebrow as possible where it starts to flare out. I know there's filler in there, and I also know that there's welds in there as well from when I welded this guard eyebrow on. So I might just attack it straight away with the angle grinder rather than try and use that saw. I know it's going to be a bit messier, but I don't think that little saw will like going through, trying to get through welds and that. So what I'll do before I do that is get a pen and mark out where I'm going to make this first cut. Now I know it's also going to make these marks disappear here, but that doesn't really matter. Just once I'm back to that other stage, it'll be a case of making it fit wherever it has to. This is just sort of a rough guide as to whereabouts I think it's going to end up. I hope. So there's nothing else in behind that. Time to get messy. And then there was a hole. This is actually going to sit on the inside of that. So this still needs to go up a lot higher. It's a start. Probably won't want to take too much more off there. If I can bring this up a lot higher. Might even see if I can take that other flare off that I put on there. So that's it there. If I can take it off. It's only a few spot welds holding it on the inside. Might make life a bit easier. Okay, so I've cut most of that off and got rid of that inside thing. Probably hard to see, I don't think this camera focuses very well. It's a fixed focus thing, it doesn't focus well on very close objects. And there's a whole seam of Sikaflex around there that I sealed the original eyebrow on with. I have to grind all that off. And that's that's part of the new guard, the new eyebrow that was welded on, so I have to trim that off there. I can't take it all the way back because I want to keep that part of that guard in there. this now, it's thin enough, just use a pair of snips on. So I'll give it a bit more clearance up the top here. Trim that back, and then I can mock up the fiberglass guard and put the wheel on it and see how much clearance we've got. Right, next thing to do is on the inside of the guard here, I'm actually lying on the floor here at the moment, is to clean all this stuff off, because the fiberglass has got to be pretty much glued to that. So got to grind with a roll-off disc and a flat disc on it. I'm going to clean it up. Clean it up while I lie here and get covered in shit. The joys. Right, now that it's all cleaned up, on the inside and the outside where I cracked the filler in a few places when I was using the snips. It's probably about time that I put this in here, at least temporarily, so that I can put the wheel on and see how she lines up for clearance. I need to bend that out a little bit first. So I have a set of vice grips with a wide flange on them for doing this kind of work. I'll just put a little fastener through there. Might be able to get a clamp behind from there that stays out of the way, and one down here as well. All in all, it's not lining up too bad. Well, I've got the guard held in by a couple of G-clamps at the moment. I'll throw the wheel on there, see what we have. I'm entirely expecting having to trim that off to some extent. And possibly even that bit at the back there too. Right, so that's at full droop. And I suspected that's going to hit the front there. That's not the end of the earth. still turns, it hasn't grabbed it, except that. There's a bit of a lip on that, which I'll take off. Actually clears better when it's on more bump. Let's take that guard out. See how close that tyre comes to the guard. I don't think I'll see it that high in real life. I think that's it's off the stand there anyway, so it's on full bump. And it's still actually turning around, there is still clearance there. But of course once I put the fibreglass guard in, it'll minimise that gap that I've got. It's always going to be like that. Trim it, fit it, trim it, fit it, trim it, fit it. Until you're ready to glue it all on. It's really the lip of this guard that holds that panel in shape, otherwise it's pretty flimsy without it. You can feel there's a gap between the glass and the edge back there, so I'll probably need to trim a little bit more out of this to let it come back in. Up there it's flush, up here there's a gap as well, and down here there's a gap, but it hasn't got anything to do with the... I can probably just trim a bit more off the fibreglass down there. So what I will do is, because I've got heaps of fibreglass behind it, probably actually trim back to that line that I've bent it at. I won't do it up the top there because I'm running out of blend room already. There'll always be this element of fiddling when you're doing this kind of work, unless you've done it 50 times and know exactly where things have got to go.